Happy holiday season, happy Yuletide, Merry New Year's. Whatever you celebrate, happy December. I actually got you something for being such a dedicated viewer. I love each and every one of you so much that I actually bought you a present. So let's open it up. Let's see what it is. I think you might already have something like this. If you didn't, you do now. So here it is. Seasonal depression. Seasonal depression hits many this time of year, as I'm sure you are aware. That's probably why you clicked on this video. So today, we are going to cover some things that you can do to stretch your creativity muscle, even though you don't want to do anything but lie in bed and doom scroll on your phone all day. I got you. To really drive home the fact that you can do these anywhere, you can even do these from your bed. I'm filming this video from my bed today. We got a couple different things that we're going to do today, and I'm going to show you just how easy these can be when you just want to lie in bed and do nothing. Remember, you don't have to do a full 30-hour painting or a full hyperrealism sketch to stretch your creativity muscles. You can just do a little doodle in a notebook. You can just sketch on a sticky note. And I'm going to show you some ideas today that are going to help you with your creativity, even when you don't want to be creative, because let's face it, that's all of us right now. Obviously, I know it's probably not going to end well if you take an entire set of acrylic paints over your bed sheets. So this video is going to be organized by least messy things to most messy things that you can probably do on your bed. Starting with the iPad. We're going to be drawing digitally and see what we can do with that.
First up, let's go to Pinterest. Let's get some ideas. Let's get the ball rolling. I know when I don't want to make something, but obviously I know I need to. Either it's for a project that I have to get finished, or I'm just working on a timeline, or it's just I need to create something today, but I don't particularly want to. I always try to hop on and find some inspo first, alright? So you can look on Pinterest. I personally look on Instagram a lot. I follow a lot of art pages, so it shows up on my feed. And the thing that I was inspired to do today, and my very first idea for you, kind of the reverse coloring book kind of situation. I don't know if you guys saw this, but a couple months ago, there was this really big trend called reverse coloring. And it was just this coloring book that had sheet after sheet of like abstract watercolor, and then you were supposed to take a pen over the top of that and turn those watercolor splooches into like some sort of design. I personally thought that was kind of a stupid idea, but I like the style of it, so I decided I wanted to make a crow with some oranges. So I put down the color of a crow and some oranges, and then I drew over the top of that. And as you can see here, this only took me like 15-16 minutes in total. It was not a hard thing to do. Just taking 5, 10, 15 minutes out of your schedule can be really great to help stretch your creative muscles. Next up, we're making our own coloring page. Apparently, I'm stuck on this idea of coloring pages. I just can't get it out of my head. So I went to a drawing prompt generator, and I mean, there's some pretty crappy drawing prompt generators out there, but I found this one that was okay. And I clicked through until I found one that was mediocre. I just pulled up a reference photo, I put it into my canvas, and I am sketching the outline on top of that. Pretty messy. Remember, we're not trying to bore ourselves to death with this activity. We're trying to get through this. This also only ended up taking me about 15 minutes, and then I loosely colored over it. You can see I'm not staying in the lines all that well. I kind of have clashing colors, but you know, I had fun, and it only took me like 16 minutes, and that's what matters, that you just did something. Personal anecdote of the day. I just wanted to share the story with you guys. Not necessarily because it's a good story, I just thought you guys might find it interesting. So there's this guy that lives down the hall from me, and I had been doing laundry that day, and I also knew that he had been doing laundry that day. Some other background you need to know real quick is that his name is like an abbreviated nickname of his longer name. Like if his name was Michael, he goes by Mike, or if it's David, he goes by Dave, or if it's Samuel, he goes by Sam. You know, like one of those abbreviated nickname names. So in jest, me and the other people that I know, we always call him the lengthened version of his name. So instead of calling him, for example, Mike, we call him Michael. And he doesn't appreciate the fact that we use the lengthened version of his name and not the shortened one. He doesn't appreciate that we call him Michael and not Mike, okay? That's something else that you need to know. I just wanted to note real quick that none of those are his real names. I'm just giving some examples here. I was coming back from doing laundry, and like I said, I know he had been trying to do his laundry that day. So he is coming down the hall. Mind you, he's not walking down the hall. He's Naruto full on sprinting down the hall, arms behind him, sprinting down the hall, which should have been my first clue that something was wrong. But this man is the biggest immature man baby you have ever met, so I didn't really think much of it. I was unlocking my door with my laundry, getting ready to head into my apartment. I saw him like, oh, hi, Michael. Washer's open, dryer's open, whatever he needed. It was open, and I told him about it. When he was Naruto running behind me, he like shoved me in between my shoulder blades. And mind you, this didn't hurt, but still rude. And I'm like, what was that for? And he's like, that's for calling me Michael and not Mike. Sorry to pause the story, we'll circle back to it in just a second. Let's talk about what I'm drawing real quick. Next up, we're sticking with the theme of just getting inspired by people online. I'm just drawing this bell pepper that I found on someone's art account that they had done, and I'm just doing a black and white sketch. We don't want to get out the colors, that's too much work, that's too much effort. And this took me like 20, maybe 25 minutes. It was a little bit longer than the other things I did, but it was moderately fun, and I filled another page of my sketchbook. If that's the kind of thing that you're looking to do, is fill your sketchbook.
I'm back. That took me like 10 minutes total, 5 minutes for the sketch, 5 minutes for the inking, and it looks okay. It's not the best thing I've ever done, but that's okay. It's okay because we took 5 to 10 minutes out of our schedule just to make something small and use our creativity muscles so that they don't shrivel up and die while we are bed rotting. I found my reference photo on Instagram. I can share that creator with you. But you can just dig through Pinterest. You can look around your room to see if there's something you want to sketch in here. You could sketch your dog. You could sketch something that you're thinking about today. You could sketch a TikTok that you found funny. You could literally draw anything as long as you draw something.
For this next one, I was inspired by that bell pepper I just did. I was drawing that upside down in my sketchbook, so it was facing the camera, so I was looking at it upside down so that the audience could see it better than I did. I found that difficult, but I also found it really interesting. I don't know if I would necessarily say fun, but I definitely found it interesting. So this next idea is inspired off of that. I set a 5-minute timer, and I'm just taking a pack of note cards, and I am drawing a little nutcracker guy on top of that. He's just a reference photo that I found off of Google. You could literally draw whatever. The reference image is not what's important here. The fact that you're just setting aside 5 minutes to do something mildly interesting and creative is the point here. I still had to do this upside down because once again the camera is facing like the other way, but I think that was a really fun drawing activity to do. I've never done that before, and I feel like if you're inspired to do that, you should definitely do that. It was kind of fun. And you'll notice I'm doing this little nutcracker guy just on the back of a note card. You don't have to get open your sketchbook. You don't have to go get some printer paper. Just use what you have. Use a sticky note. Use some note cards like I'm using here. The last one that I'm doing on this notebook paper is a Zentangle. I saw this on TikTok the other day. I'm not claiming to be the expert on Zentangles or what they are or what they're supposed to do. I don't know. It just looked like fun. So you're supposed to make like however many stars you want on the paper. And you're supposed to go around and fill each of them in one line at a time. So you're taking turns filling them in. And then when they're filled into the center, you're supposed to go on the outside of them and fill it to the edges of the paper. And I mean, that was kind of fun. It did take me longer than the other ones. This was about maybe a 25-30 minute activity. I wasn't really timing myself, but I mean, it was pretty relaxing and mindless, and it's not the best thing I've ever done for sure. It's definitely just a casual low-key activity, but I mean, it was fun. I did this with a gold Posca, and once again, we're really trying to place emphasis on just easy low-key things to do, and this definitely fits both of those criteria. Okay, back to my story. I followed him to the laundry room. I'm like, hey, you, just a heads up, can't be shoving people. You can't be touching people. You can't be trying to insert malice upon other people just because you really want to. You're not 6. This isn't some sort of schoolyard debate that you're solving with physical violence. You need to cut it out. Technically, this is battery, and if I wanted to press charges, I could. I'm not going to. Instead of being like, oh, I'm sorry, there's kind of a dumb thing to get heated over. Yeah, you know, whatever. He just like groaned inside and rolled his eyes and was like, ugh, whatever. And I'm like, you need to be mature. You're not protected under the law of minors under the age of 18. You're a grown 20-year-old man, and the things that you do, the actions that you take, have consequences. Just a heads up. And it came out later that he is in a study group with one of my friends, and in the study group, one point he got really mad at her and he threw something. Wasn't something serious, just like a notebook or something. But still, you can't be shoving and throwing things at people when you're a grown 20-year-old man. Once again, not the greatest anecdote ever. I just wanted to share that with you because I feel like a lot of you also have experience with man babies among us and you would feel sympathetic to my plight. Anyways, yeah, I hope some of you can find some creativity during this time when you don't want to be creative at all. Please at least try to get around to creating something, and that's all I had for you today. I will see you next Sunday. Okay? Bye.